Okay, I'm here. Let's see if you all can find me. Mhm. Okay, if you are here and you are in the chat, say hi. Anthony, all right, cool, cool. Seeing some wonderful faces pop in. Welcome back. Yes. Okay, we are definitely strolling in. Hit the thumbs up button. Even if you gave me a thumbs up on part one, give me a thumbs up on part two, because you know YouTube ain't going to see part two as part two. They're going to see this as its own little thing. So we just going to have to re-shenanigate. Um, but you know, hey, will avoid the announcements. Okay. Jay, don't throw clocks at me until about 7:05. Let's give these people the extra 5 minutes due to the hiccups. Um, All right. So is everything sounding better now? Sound is good. All right. That's what we like to hear. So far, sounding much better. Groovy. See, anytime it takes me a while to go live and there's that little internet hiccup, I don't know if it's on my internet or what, but that always tends to be a precursor that we may have a problem. So I love it when you guys let me know so that we can do these resets. Appreciate it. But Jade, now that I do know you're here for sure, again, I'm going to say, don't throw clocks at me till the next 7:05. That way the people get their time back. Pardon me. The blue thing is still over your shoulder. Erilyn, yes, everyone remember to like. Thank you very much. Valkyrie, welcome. We got some new faces popping in as well. So, hey, not only did we appear to keep all the other viewers, we also picked up a few extras. Yay! Love to see that happen. There's always things around me in the cameras to those who are sensitive to seeing them, whether it be dragons or fae or spirits. My house is Grand Central Station. Um, all right. How do you cleanse your aura? Well, there's a few different methods. You could use smudging via incense, sage, or any form of smoke you want. You can also use charged water, blessed water, moon water, any form of charged water you want. You can also use rituals like the Dragon's Flame ritual. When it says clear, protect, and empower the space, it will clear and protect your ass as well when you do it because you're in that space. You can also use a ritual like the Lesser Banishing Ritual of the Pentagram. You can also use meditations to do so. Some people use crystals. I'm not a crystal fan. Many of you know this. Maybe one day I'll actually do a video why detailing my thoughts on why I'm not a crystal fan. But I'm just not a crystal fan. But for those who do use them and enjoy them, they seem to get a good workout of them. So, you know, different techniques for it. Grounding is actually balancing out your energy. It is a form of cleansing, technically. It's more of an overcharge, so you're actually grounding out the excess. I will say this: when you ground your energy, remember, I cannot stress this. I know so many people who push the energy out and they empty and then they're done. Look, if I take this coffee cup and I drink it and I drain it, okay, let's do demo time. All right, we just grounded this coffee cup. Look at that. No energy. Well, this is you after you take all that excess energy, and if you spill too much out, you're the vessel. You're the coffee cup. You're empty. Whoop, that's not good. Grounding is also making sure the energy is not only excessive, but balanced and your field. There's a difference in overcharged and balanced. So when you're grounding, make sure you're topping your energy off and balancing it as well. Okay? Best metaphor of the night. I'm telling you. I just got to slam a cup of coffee. Let's see. Let's see. Do you ever use the Gallery of Magic techniques? I've used a few of them, and I've actually reviewed several of their books. I was wanting to do some reviews across some of the channel. Some of their books I actually really kind of like. Some of them I'm iffy on. Um, Demons of Magic is one of the books that I do actually recommend. If you look in the recommended links list below my videos, Demons of Magic is down there. 72 Angels is also a really good book. If I do a video corresponding angels to the Goetia, I'll probably follow that book um, because two reasons actually. First off, it doesn't just regurgitate the common fluffy bunny archangel dogma and give you the same four names over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. And it introduces an entirely new category of angel that most people, not all people, but most people know nothing about. And I think that's a better use of the time and channel to expose people to new knowledge and learning, as opposed to just regurgitating the same old beans over and over again. But those are two that I really do like. There was one on Sigil Magic. I can't remember the title of it. I enjoyed it. And I read a good book on servitors. I don't know if it was theirs or not, so I'm going to have to say maybe on that one. Metaphors. All right. Do you ever work with Cthulhu? I have in the past. It's not something I currently do often. And my original workings were to just see if you could get results. Because the thing is, when we're talking about Cthulhu in any of the Lovecraftian entities at all, the simple fact of the matter is there is not one single factoid of basis to prove they're actual entities. In fact, all evidence points to they just being literary creations of Lovecraft. However, before you start yelling at me, the argument from the occult community is that these entities inspired his literary works and were not created. Maybe. However, currently as stands, most evidence would point to these things being more egregorically created accidentally through people actually attempting to reach out and contact them. And if you check out my video, Are Entities Real or In Your Head, you'll kind of get an idea where this is going, because at the end of the day, it really doesn't matter if you're getting results. I will say I got some pretty interesting results with that. However, if you work with this system, I would avoid working with the concepts that go directly with the Lovecraftian Cthulhu mythology about madness. If you wish madness into your practice and you draw on madness, it will drive you mad, and that's not healthy. And we talk about health here. So, yeah, I do not condone that form of practice with it at all. Now, after I got the results, I haven't been able to get back and visit it deeper, which I'm wanting to. So, my next research is going to be focusing more on answering my personal view of whether I'm going to think these are real entities or egregores. At best, at this time, I can say you can get results with it. I didn't get the best results, but at the same time, that was earlier in my practice, so the skill sets were different. But I got results. So it is something I want to go back and visit when I get a time. Of course, you all know I'm doing a Norse path working this year. I've got some Fey path workings I'm supposed to work on in my personal practice, as well as all the workings I'm doing for the school. Because anytime I'm doing filming, I'm also contacting any entities and whatnot, and going through the workings and stuff when I'm filming the classes to make sure everything is exactly as I want it, and make sure the entities actually want to be included in the work. So like the evocation course that we're doing right now, it has over 105 spirits in that course. In the spirit codex, I have actually had to sit down and contact each of those little entities. Not that they're little, but you know what I mean. So it's a lot of work just to get these courses out to you all. So it takes time. Komodo, glad you can make it. Ooh, cold shaped coals. That would be nice. I'm actually looking at making fire pit stones out of skulls. Somebody showed me how to do it. I just got to get the time to do it. Let's see. Okay, I'm lost here. Where did I lose it? It jumped and I got lost. Sorry about that. Crap. Halloween, glad you can make it. Let's see. Mention such as visualization argument. Senses do evocation effectively. Diana, when it comes to evocation, yes, I actually would recommend auditory senses at the very least. Now, there are individuals who do have issues with summoning mental images. One of the things we talk about in the course is different ways, but what you have to understand is what we call imagination, and we tell people is make believe. That is actually the core function of the arcane sense and the trigger there of it. So you do need to have that functional. And we actually cover arcane sight and arcane hearing specifically because of the fact that um, evocation is all about a direct real-time conversation. If you do not have a direct real-time conversation, you are not fully doing evocation. Um, but you have to have those senses trained in order to get that real-time conversation, because even when you fully summon an entity to this plane, they don't have a physical body. With no physical body, they can't create a physical disturbance, so they're not going to vibrate your eardrums. Therefore, you need to be able to hear them without the physical eardrum. um, so yeah, you would, at least for a conversation, you need to have the auditory trained up very well. And that is something we work on through this course as well. So people who have started and people who haven't started can actually jump into this course pretty easily. The rate at which you work through it, that will vary from person to person based on skill sets. But we're also, part of this course is to help develop those skill sets as you work through it. So there are those. So even if you cannot develop sight because you're just one of those people whose brain can't do it, this course can still work and you can still do it. Sight can be fun, but it's not a necessary. But the ability to hear kind of becomes a necessary. Let's see. Hope that helps answer your question somewhat there, Diana. Um, see. Whoop, we jumped again. What the? Oh, Falcon. Hey, mate. Thank you for the super chat. Appreciate it. Let's see here. Nowadays, I commonly see the words light, gray, dark, black arts when dealing with magic spirits. Is there any real reason behind these terms, or are they just made up just to sound mystical? Um, a little bit of both, really. Okay, so here's the thing. When we talk about magic, magic is magic is magic. Magic is a tool. It is, that's all it is. Okay, it is a tool. If I have a hammer, I can build a house with it. I can, donate my time for community service. Build lemonade stands, all kinds of things. I can do a lot of great good with a hammer. I can also go out and bash my neighbor in the head with a hammer. Magic is a tool. It is neither light nor is it dark. It just is. It is what we choose to do with it, what motivates our use of it, and what we actually end up doing with it that determines it. The morality of magic is based strictly on human perception. Um, this is a simple fact that people don't like to admit. Humans are animals, and we are not innately good animals either. We are actually very violent animals, which is okay because look at lions and tigers and bears. They're pretty freaking violent, even to their own kind. We humans have to choose to be good. That's why being a good person takes work. That's why doing the right thing is not easy. And that's why it's something that should be respected when someone does do it. Magic is neither good nor bad. Okay? Now, if we look at these concepts of black magic, light magic, they actually come from religious dogma throughout the ages, in which black magic would be anything you disagreed with that you viewed as bad. And yes, I mean you viewed as bad. Not everybody views it as bad, just you. That immediately makes it black magic. Whereas white magic was traditionally anything that was considered good. And again, that's a matter of point of view. And those terms actually break off from the terms left hand and right hand path. But those terms themselves even came from a singular source. And they didn't mean good or bad either. Those actually come from a monastery order whose name I can't remember right now. But their entire concept was two paths equally valid to the same goal of ascent. And one path was You live so fully in the material world, you get bored with it, and you ascend. This would have been the right hand path or the left hand path. This would be the left hand path. What people consider all dark, it's not dark. All materialistic, it's not materialistic. You just do that until you get bored. You experience everything there is to experience in the material world, and you move on. The left or the right hand path. Sorry, I'm dyslexic. The right hand path is about self denial. You deny everything in the physical world to the point where there's nothing left, and you move on. Two extremes of ascent from the same order, both valid. And of course, through the ages, this has been perverted and twisted and whatnot to sound mystical. And depending on which group of pagans, which religious group, they wish to twist it to their personal dogma. You will honestly not hear me talk left or right hand path much on this channel because at the end of the day, you do the magic you do to manifest the results you want in your life. And as long as you're just not out and about being a dick and hurting other people, I don't care what you do. You want money, do magic to get money. I don't care. I got no issues with it. You need a car, get a car. You do magic just because you want a sub sandwich. There's people out there who's like, you shouldn't do that. That's disrespectful to the craft. I'm not religious. I don't hold magic as a sacred thing. Magic is something that is there for everyone. There's nothing particularly sacred about it. It's a tool, like a hammer. And if I want to use a hammer to build a sandwich, I'll use a hammer to build a sandwich. If I want to build a house, I'll build a house. If I want to use a hammer to tear apart my shed, I'll tear it apart. Kind of that thing. Does that help a little bit? But thank you very much, Falcon. Magic is just magic. Let's see. I had a question about the location pillar of the. Okay, hold on, Diana. Let me make sure I got this. A question about the invocation pillar of the dragon of the three pillars. Okay, why do the dragons recommend this as an important pillar? What makes this so special than other forms of magic? Thank you. Well, it's not more special. It's actually it's equal with the other three pillars. All three pillars are equal. But when you look at the three pillars, okay, the three pillars, the reason they're important is if you gain a functional and working knowledge of all three pillars and their foundation, which is meditation, there's not an area of magic you can't do. They literally cover everything at that point. You have a question, you can get an answer. You need to achieve something or manifest it, you can see how to do it. You can find a way to do it. You can talk to entities to do it. You need to travel the planes in order to help manifest something in the physical, you can do it. You want to travel the planes to gain information, you can do it. You want to travel the planes to learn more about ascent, you can do it. You want to work with entities directly here on Earth in order to help manifest the life you want or create the change you want, you can do it. If you gain an understanding and mastery of all three of those pillars, that's it. You're done. You don't need to worry about spending all this money on books and spells and candles and all this other stuff people's trying to shove down our throats. And you can focus strictly on you, your mastery, and you can pursue any answer for yourself at that point. The reason more people don't talk about this is the gurus don't want us to know. Because let's be honest, if you know you just need to focus on those four things, the foundation, which is meditation, and those three pillars, you don't need the guru no more, do you? They can't constantly sling overpriced books at us. And as someone who has spent my career purchasing way too many books that weren't worth it, understanding the arcane pillars, when the dragons fully clarified those to me, and spending a lot of time with other entities throughout other areas, and every one of those entities in agreement of their importance, yeah, I when it came down to sharing it, that seemed to be a cornerstone concept. Because with those, there's not a single system of magic that can't accomplish anything those things can't. And those things will take you farther than most other things. Hope that helps. Can you test an entity to see if it's an astral parasite? Honestly, if you do the Dragon's Flame ritual, astral parasite won't even be able to contact you, so that'll solve that problem. See, something popped up here. Lilith, thank you very much for the super chat. Appreciate it. How can I communicate with Jinn? Honestly and truly, Jinn they function like any other entity. If you utilize meditation, scrying, or um, a, a hailing ritual for contact or something like that, and you've developed your arcane senses, yeah, you can do it. In fact, one of the entire points of the evocation course we're putting together is to see to it that, yes, we're giving you a spirit codex. Yes, we're giving you a huge spirit codex to get started with. But if you actually truly learn the material in this course fully, there's not an entity out there you won't be able to reach out and say hi to. No entity really has a super special secret mechanism to contact. You can contact them all using the same system of evocation. See, I wanted a cheeseburger, so I did a petition. See, nothing wrong with manifesting a cheeseburger. Cheeseburgers are good. I mean, I'm on a diet. I've been losing a lot of weight. But yeah. Let's see, where was I? Karma, what is ancestor magic? Ancestor magic is literally just magic that utilizes and leverages your ancestors. And ancestors is actually a loose word in magic. We're not talking necessarily genetic ancestors. We are talking about our ancestors, whether they're adopted family, extended family, or whatnot. You contact that energy current, that pattern, even the spirits thereof, and you work with it, whether it be through prayers, offerings, evocation. There's almost a limitless way of working with them in order to get their assistance to aid into your practice. That's all ancestor magic is. And I agree. Manifesting small things is actually a big confidence booster. I do recommend working to manifest small things. That's why when I say work with your magic, do it every day. Find something to do something for daily. Get those manifestations flowing in. This is why I love that you are you. You say it like it is and sharing your knowledge. Hey, GK, I try. Believe me, y'all see me. I try to behave on here. I do. I do. And somebody emailed me and said apparently last week I let an F bomb slip. Oops. To be fair, the fact that that's the first email on that I've gotten surprises me because if you don't see me on camera, I almost punctuate sentences with that word sometimes. Growing up in a military family and Southern, yeah. But I do try to behave. But when it comes to telling it like I see it and what I teach my students, I do tell it like it is, as you say. But I'm also big on the fact that my practice is results driven, not religion, not spirituality. So those things mean very little to me. I'm probably not the best guy for spirituality. I don't worship or any of that stuff. That's not to say there's anything wrong with it. It helps a lot of people out. It's just not my bag. You don't need it, but it can be helpful for you if it's something you enjoy. So we got some. Whoa, we jumped. Hold on. Photo. Okay, so here's the thing. I've mentioned stuff like astral parasites. Those exist, and honestly, any basic cleansing ritual will get rid of them. They're not hard to get rid of at all. We have mentioned thought forms and egregores that are created out of our own fears. Again, same thing. A ritual like the Lesser Banishing or the Dragon's Flame ritual, clear them out, no problem. The issue with it being our fears, we can recreate them. But, until you master you, that's just going to be a good reason to keep doing those rituals daily. Human spirits, they can be dicks. But honestly, any good magic circle of even the crappiest strength, like a toddler using a stick, pretending there's a circle, will create a magic circle strong enough to keep a human spirit at bay, period. Okay, outside that, entities don't give a rat's patoot about us. Let's just say that as harsh as I can. They don't care. Their job is to do their job, and humans are like the last thing on their list. Now, when they are interacting with humans, or humans are praying to them, or humans are contacting them, do they love us? Do they cherish us? Do they see us as these little things? Not really. But they would like to see us grow and improve. That doesn't mean they actually care about us, but they'd like to see us improve. Here's the problem we humans have. We humans think improving is all cushy, it is shiny, it is fun, it's easy, and it's just going to be sunshine and rainbows. All those entities that don't fall into those earlier categories, they will help us improve. They don't care about how we want to do it. They're going to help us improve. The question is, are you willing to do the work and deal with what it is? For example, some entities can be a lot easier to deal with. They can take a slower time, makes the transition a little easier, smoother road. Some entities are very, very quick. That road's going to be bumpy, jerky, and take left turns that you're not expecting. Both roads have your best interest at heart. Whether you like it or not, you asked for it. So the question is, what entities do you want to work with? Do your research on the entity. Find out what they do. Find out what their lore is. And work with those. That's why when you start out, it's recommended you start out with entities that you can find a lot of lore on. When you start working with entities that you find through divinations, journey work, or other methods where you find new entities, you need to not necessarily work with that entity directly until you truly know that entity. You need to limit its access because it will help you. The question is, how will it help you? I know plenty of people who have asked entities to help them get out of their current home and into a new one, and whether it be rain, flood, hurricane, or house fire, they got out of their house, and insurance helped them get a new one. So they got what they asked for. They just didn't like how. That's why there's an old saying, be careful what you ask for. All right, let's see. SW, currently the evocation course, if that's the one specifically you're asking about, it's not live yet. We're actually recording that one now. However, there is one on Dragon Magic 101, Dragon Magic 102, and there is actually one, an in-depth full meditation with path working course for meditation, since, again, this is one of the arcane pillars. I do have a plan to actually have a detailed course for all the arcane pillars to build off the meditation course, hence why we're doing the evocation course. That's just the reason that one got picked next, is that's the one everybody wants. Everyone's interested in evocation. So we're doing that one next. Bernaldus, thank you for sharing the link. We got another super chat from Falcon. Wow, Falcon, you tearing it up tonight. Thank you, mate. Thank you. Ways to grow your arcane hearing. I checked your online courses and only saw a site. Yes, take my support. You deserve it. Aw, shucks. Okay. Yes, okay. The Arcane Sight course did focus on sight because it's one that most people have trouble with. Those exercises can easily be transitioned into other senses. However, this is one of my favorites, okay? Anybody know what a mind worm is, an earworm? It's usually when you get a song stuck in your head and you can hear that song playing over and over and over and over and over and again. And you're usually cussing because your buddy's the one who got it stuck in your head, and it's usually that song that annoys you, right? That's your arcane hearing doing that. So here's what I like to do. I like to start with short sounds. Ringtones and notifications are great. So you can listen to those a time or two, and then you can replay them exactly in your head. This is starting to get your arcane hearing firing up, so you understand what it's like to hear in your mind's ear, because it is going to be in your mind just the same way that earworm song is. Everyone's had that song stuck in their head, so that's the easiest way to explain what it's like to have when something speaks to you through arcane hearing. Then from a small sound, move to something like 2 minutes, longer ringtones and the like. Once you get a good control over longer ringtones where you can duplicate those in your mind, move to songs, full songs. And it needs to be a song. It needs to have both instrumental and vocals. I know a lot of classic music people who just love instrumentals. I get it, but we need both because we want the overlapping complexity here. We want that overlapping complexity to be able to be duplicated, because if we can duplicate that, once we actually move into evocation or listening to entities and activating arcane hearing, it allows more complex conversations to be had in real time. And those conversations will be easier to receive than to duplicate an entire song. And bonus perk to this, you literally have an iPod in your head if you listen to enough songs this way. That would actually be the easiest way to get started with that one. And we jumped. My God, we are busy tonight. Y'all just tearing me up. I'm loving it. It does take time to develop these skills. My brain must be festivals. Exactly. Because I inevitably, growing up, my family and I do not listen to the same music. So I would always get their songs stuck in my head, and it was annoying. One of my favorite things about developing my arcane hearing is the ability to gain control. So if I get a song stuck in my head, I will literally just change the channel. So it's kind of weird because outside the ability to have real time conversations, um, I've been asked the question, other than that, what is the greatest use of arcane hearing in your opinion? It's seriously to be able to change the channel on the songs that get stuck in my head. Oh, good God. It really is, especially when I was on the West Coast. Um, there were two or three people, the music they listened to, I couldn't even tell you what the bands were. I have a very eclectic mixed bag of music I listen to. I can listen to just about anything. I don't know what they were listening to. It was super weird, and that's the stuff that would get stuck in my head, and I'd have to change the channel. It was crazy. Succubus Magic and Succubus Companion, what are those? Okay, this is a little trickier topic, but we'll try and touch on this a little bit, Karma. This is a tricky topic because of how it is used today. Succubus magic is magic that utilizes the energy and vitality of the person, aka sex magic. It's not actually succubus magic, nor does it require an actual succubus. It can also be referred to as tantric magic. A lot of people have gotten to calling it the word succubus because it's all edgy and sounds cool, and they want to manipulate it and sell it as something it's not. Now, secondly, the succubus companion. Can succubuses, by and large, work with you in magic? Yes, they can. Lilith is a great example of this, as is Namal. Both of them are considered succubuses. And there are others. Those are just two of the more famous ones that you're going to find throughout literatures. Um, However, when it comes to succubus companion, and I'm going to say this as bluntly as I can, a lot of this comes from the fact that people do not want to actually take time and responsibility for their own actions, their own hygiene, and their own relationships. So they essentially hold up in their own house and they try to contact a succubus as a girlfriend slash waifu, which I'll be honest is pathetic, in my personal opinion. So I would kind of, yeah, it's manipulated, made edgy, a lot of fan fiction stuff, and it doesn't function in that way at all. Even if you saw the original Ghostbusters, the Ray Vance dream with the spirit floating over him, doesn't work that way either. Um, if you want a relationship, get a real relationship. A real relationship. The real world is amazing. We're here to experience it. And newsflash, here's the wonderful part. For everybody who tries to avoid or escape the real world via magic, you're missing the whole point of magic and you're doomed to repeat it. Because you can't ascend, you can't move on, you can't progress until you actually have the experiences here. You can't, you're stuck. So your own personal avoidance and trying to hide and avoid and experience the real world will keep you here. And if you're trying to avoid the real world, you're missing the entire point. But those are definitely misused terms this day and age, which is kind of sad. And I remember originally when these started popping up, I kind of laughed at them and didn't pay them much mind because it's like, people ain't going to buy that. People ain't going to believe that. Oh my God, people are buying that. People are believing that. And it's so bad, I even know what the word waifu means, people. I'm too old. I should not know what the word waifu means. But I do. And now I just have to live with it. Can't bleach that out of my brain. Anyway, moving on. So I hope that answered a few of those. I'm not saying you can't work with succubuses. You can, obviously. Lilith and Mom, love both of them. But it's not the whole way that a lot of people's presenting it these days. A lot of people, not everybody. Notice I keep saying a lot of people. What do I think of shamanism? I love shamanism in practice. There's a lot of different varieties of shamanism that predate basically religion in general. Shamanism in its original format was not dogmatic, was not religious. It was really about experiencing the world and the worlds beyond. So it took an interaction and an understanding of all the worlds together. I know a lot of shamans. There's a lot of shamans who accuse my practice of being very shamanic. I'll take the compliment personally. I do not personally view myself as a shaman for various reasons, but I can see what they mean. My practice is very shamanic because it is a very personal practice. It's very experiential, as shamanism is until it became dogmatic. But it is actually a very good practice. And if you think about what I teach, where, we meet the entities, we treat the entities with respect, and we build friends and allies with these entities. That's what shamans did originally. They didn't worship them, they built friends and allies. So they could call on them, and the entities could also call on them for helping. And I have had entities be like, "Hey, Drake, I got this thing. Would you help me with it?" That's fair. If I'm allowed to ask you for help, you should be allowed to ask me for help. So there is that. If we open up our arcane senses, I'm concerned that this will distract. Could it become problematic in daily life? Like spirits will try to talk to us and we won't be able to shut it down. No, Diana, actually, your arcane senses will function just like our other senses. So you know how we can have selective hearing, selective sight, where like you're sitting in a crowd somewhere at a concert and you just kind of fade out. All the people walking by, you don't even pay attention to them no more because they're there. Or you're in a busy restaurant and you just get used to the noise. And even though everybody's still talking around you, you can still have that conversation across the table because you just tuned everyone else out. Or your girlfriend or boyfriend or wife or husband is sitting there in your ear just going on and on and on and on and on. And first hour you're answering and they're like, "Oh, I'm not really asking a question." It's okay. And then you tune them out. Inevitably, when you tune them out, that's when they ask a question and you get in trouble. The same thing. Same exact thing would function. Your brain has the ability to filter through it just as it does your normal senses. Can you explain more about ascending? Well, okay, ascending is a massive topic, Maria, massive topic. But we'll try and sum it up for you since I know you don't get to make a lot of these. So let's try and sum this up. So the concept of ascent or ascending, this is a concept that is through a lot of occult practices. The direct route and exactly how to do it is philosophically debated. Okay, let's get that. No one has the one true answer of ascent, including me. Sorry. What is known is that ascent is the concept of we progress, we grow in life or lifetimes. And that knowledge, that growth over multiple lifetimes grows us as a whole being to the point where we have learned enough from the physical realm and we move on. We essentially become a spiritual being. If you look up something called like the Ascended Masters, for example, these are entities or people who have ascended and they're teachers and stuff. Um, and you no longer manifest in the physical realm after that. You are a being beyond the physical. You continue doing your thing um, outside the physical. At that point, all your lives, all your different yous join together into a singular spiritual being. And then you continue your growth after that. See, there's no entity out there that has stopped growing. Even the gods, as we call them, they're only gods because we call them that. They have grown to a point. We look up to them. Great, wonderful. But they're still learning. They're still growing too. Um, so that's essentially what ascent is. It's growing to the point where you no longer return to the physical. Let's see. Uh, Angela, I have tried. And I do good. I do good. I do good. I will not think of that word for so long. It's gone. And then my daughters are like doing a waifu woo woo or ooh or what? You know the thing I'm talking about. I think it's ooh. Is it ooh? Is ooh? Halloween, if you're on here, it's ooh, right? Um, and then it's back, and I'm stuck with it again. So that's the downside of having a social relationship with other people who use words that it's just like, but that's stuck with me again. But it's also fun. And I don't try to necessarily erase it because, for one, this is something okay, I joke a lot about stuff like that, but at the same time, I want to be clear on this. I actually will ask my daughter to explain slang to them or to me. I want to understand the new slang, okay? I do. Because when I'm having a conversation with a person, I want to understand what they're saying. Now, does some of this slang seem silly and make no sense to me? Yeah. But you know what? The slang my generation used made no sense to my parents. They thought we were right out of our head. But my parents never tried to understand what the hell I was saying. So for me, all through my life, I've gotten to travel from state to state where regional dialects change. And I loved to learn about regional dialects. Well, regional dialects and regional slang are very fun things. You can actually learn a lot about individuals and you kind of pick up an understanding of what they're talking about. And it makes yourself far more relatable to them. And, well, honestly, it feels good when someone takes the time out of their day to get to know you to the level they actually want to get to know your speech. Um, so yeah, even though I don't understand some of these things, like Halloween, she said she went to Starbucks one time. I was like, "What's Starbucks?" And she was shocked I didn't know this. Apparently, Starbucks is Starbucks. See, I didn't know that. I drink a lot of coffee. I didn't know that, but now I know that. Um, so I encourage you all not to just write something off as silly, but to understand the meaning of it. Now, I'm not saying the uses of it might not be a little out there, um, but I do think it's a good exercise to try and learn and understand how the word is being used because that is very important. We need to understand how the word's being used. It's important. One of the things we're going to be covering in the workshop is scientific terms and metaphysical terms. They are not the same. We got a lot of people out there using science terms to say this supports my metaphysical whatever dogma when it absolutely does not. And if you want to do true, genuine metaphysical research, you need to know the difference between the scientific term and the metaphysical term. In fact, science is science. Metaphysical research is a philosophy, it's not a science. And one of the most dangerous things in the world is to actually think metaphysical research is an actual science right now. And that's gotten a lot of people hurt in the past, a lot of people. And it's empowered snake oil salesmen. And y'all know I ain't big on that. So that is one of the things we're going to talk about, because in the journaling course, we're talking about doing research and how to improve our ability to research and how to understand our sources that we're going to for the research. So this is a key component to this journaling course that it's actually part of the course that I haven't taught even in workshops. This will be the first time really diving in deep on this. So there you go. Terms matter and their usage. Now, don't get me wrong. When I say terms matter, I mean terms based in fact. I know people think I'm an asshole because I grew up with sticks and stones break my bones, but words will never hurt me. Call me what you want. I don't care. Call me fat. Call me a redneck. Call me a hillbilly. I don't care. Whatever insults a person flings at me, that reflects on them, not me. I'm one of those people, I don't care about words as far as an insult. I do care about the actual fact of it. Hope that makes sense. Mackie. I've never heard Mackey's. Look at that. Learned a new one. Yeah, we call it Mickey D's. Mickey D's is what we call it. McDonald's. I've heard that one. Taco Breezy. I've not heard that one either. I'm going to guess that's Taco Bell. That's what I'm going to guess. It's got tacos in it, so it sounds like a good time. So let's see what we got. Let me see if I can get some of these out, people. All right, we got clocks flying at me now. Thank you, Jade. And yes, you did actually give me the 5 minutes I requested. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Everyone, this has been so much fun tonight. This really has. You guys not only fought through the technical issues we've had, which I appreciate. You guys have just came in throwing questions after questions after questions after questions, and good, well thought out questions. I couldn't be prouder of the viewer and the followers I have. You guys are amazing. Thank you. And your support with the super chats is freaking amazing as well. Thank you very much for your support. Falcon, I have to give a special shout out to Falcon for your support tonight. You just kept throwing those super chat questions at us in the big dollar sign amounts. I highly appreciate that. And on that last one, you even beat me to it before I was like, I can't believe you're doing it. He was like, I deserve it. So you beat me to that because you clearly know I get shy. So Falcon, mugs up to you specially, mate. Appreciate it. Now, that said, for those artists out there, do remember we are trying to collect your all's artwork to feature a art picture in videos in the near future. We do have to get a good backlog of these before we can start doing it. So if you have any artwork you would like to enter, you can send it directly to me via Gilded, or you can email it to me at workingdragonmystic@gmail.com. Just put in the title, art submission for videos. Make sure it is something to do with the channel. Don't just have it random. Don't send me a picture of your waifu. That's not going to really do it. And keep it, PG-13ish, please. If you get it to the point where I can't post it on YouTube, I mean, I appreciate the artwork. I never put anyone down for what they choose to do in their art because your creativity is you. I'll not put you down for it. Everybody's got their own creativity. But for me to be able to put it here on the YouTube, I have to follow the guidelines. You know how that goes. So if you are entering it for that reason, try to keep it within that PG-13, 15-ish range, just so we can do that. Other than that, everyone, I am going to get off here. I'm going to try and drink me some coffee and unwind a little bit tonight and get back to a good long week of filming and doing videos and all this nonsense that I do as a working mystic. And hopefully get this evocation course done. I won't lie. I took a little extra time off this week for my anniversary to spend with the wife. Don't regret it at all. Any woman who can put up with me with a smile for 22 years, well, plus because we dated sometime before that, that woman deserves a medal. She really does. Uh, so, y'all take it easy. I'll see y'all next week. Take care. Bye bye.